I beg your indulgence, but this this conversation, this project, and some of the discussions that we've had, some of the things Nina said, but some of the things that Ms. McAustin said at the last time we came up with a discussion about the Rose Bowl and the Arroyo. I mean, there are a whole series of issues. Nina described it as the RBOC exploding out of the boundary. But really, I think the reverse is what's happening here. We've got all these things swirling around the Arroyo. Congressman Schiff's Valley, Rim of the Valley proposal, the county and the sediment removal. The Corps of Engineers is coming in with a proposal for restructuring potentially the flood control, the music and art festival, the continuing saga of the bicycle peloton, and increasing number of events. I mean, I'm particularly conscious of the number of events that are happening in the Arroyo and how the place runs the risk of being loved to death. And the question that we continue to sort of not grapple with, I think, frontally, is who's in charge in the Arroyo. And the Rose Bowl has clear responsibilities and is doing that effectively. And we've got this stack of master plans that was referenced here tonight, I think, by Council Member Madison, among others, without the money to implement them or anybody responsible for making sure that they happen. We have more than $85 million worth of proposed projects with no funding source. So I think that this is these various conversations that we've had around the Rose Bowl and the Arroyo suggest to me that it's time to take a good look at how we're doing things and what the best practices are around the country. So I think it's time to bring this matter, agendize this matter for the City Council. But before we do that, in order to do this in an orderly way, I would ask that the City Manager and the RBOC staff do some preliminary work to help the Council frame these issues for specific discussion in terms of the operation of the entire Arroyo, not just the segmented Arroyo, and the funding. And I think Legacy sets a perfect example of how that kind of private funding could be expanded to achieve projects that we haven't been able to fund in other portions of the Arroyo. So I'm going to ask the City Manager and the RBOC staff to do some preliminary work and bring us back some suggestions in terms of how we might go at this, and then agendize it for the Council, because there's just a lot of things happening here, and I had the opportunity to be in the Arroyo on 3 different occasions this weekend, and the level of activity there is, I mean, it's great, but the place is being loved to death, and so I hope that the Council will be supportive of that, and we'll be more about this later. Victor?
Yeah, I'm certainly supportive of it. I think it's a good opportunity to look at the Arroyo as one contiguous space. You know, we have all of these planning documents that sort of artificially have broken it up into 3 different spaces when it's really one Arroyo. And the result is, you know, every time we have a project, whether it's the aquatic center or kids space, it's sort of planning by default. You know, we begrudgingly in some cases approve it, or some people don't want to approve it, and we sort of end up with a space that has the potential to be a great space, but that isn't quite there. And I think we can, through those discussions, work our way to implementing some of the master plans, work our way to better coordination in the Arroyo, but importantly, meeting our responsibility, our fiduciary obligation to the stadium, and not losing sight of the fact that the RBOC, you know, has been charged by the council and the community with being stewards of the Rose Bowl, and for many years, the Rose Bowl lost money, and for the first time, at least in the history that I recall, the Rose Bowl is financially sound, improved, and I think well-positioned for the challenges that the competition that is going to be in Los Angeles very soon. And so we're ready to compete. But I do think that broader picture, looking at the big picture of the Arroyo, and looking at coordination of activity, I know Margaret and Steve and others have raised it. I think that's an important component, and so I support taking that look and having the RBOC staff and the city manager come back to us. Do you contemplate that they would first go to the RBOC and present?
Yeah, they should have that conversation at the
okay.
RBOC.
I think that's.
I mean, as long as we had Daryl here tonight, I thought it was a good opportunity.
I think it's the appropriate thing to do.
All right. Do you have something on this? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say I support this, and I look forward to a more holistic approach in the management of the Arroyo, because I think that's what it needs, and to help it sort of almost become a little more restored to its natural
Okay,
beauty.
so we've completed our agenda. Are there items for